Boss, who is logged in as waiting for name? Please log in with your name, boss. Please, please, please. I'm disconnecting in. Please log in with your name. Yeah. If there's something, talk to Pawan. Yeah. Okay, boss. Okay. So in the last class, we have seen HANA optimized info cube and unoptimized DSO, but there's no concept of unoptimized DSO for BW. So if you have already migrated that as unoptimized DSO, we have to reconvert it to normal DSO by using this program RSA1 underscore reconvert underscore DSO. Okay, data store. But who is this waiting for name? Please tell me your name, yeah. Hello? It might be me. Who is me? Who is that? Pratap Reddy Mara. Okay. Okay, boss. The next option. Okay, okay, okay. See, if it is normal BW running on non-HANA database, generally we go with the architecture like this. We have detailed data into the DSO, and from there we load into the cube. And to improve the performance, we either go with BW accelerator or aggregates and use a query on it, right? Let's say this was an existing system. We already had a BW on some 7.x running on some non-HANA database, and we had a flow like this. We had a DSO, then we had a cube, then we had an aggregate or accelerator on top of it. Once let's say, then after this, the BW system was migrated to HANA. So now we have a BW system sitting on top of HANA bus. Once it comes into HANA, no more BW accelerator. We cannot use the indexes BW accelerator. And all the aggregates will be deactivated because HANA can handle the performance. So now you'll have the DSO and you'll have cube. Now even in this case, suppose when you're loading from DSO to the cube, if you're not performing any transformations, if you're just using this cube only for aggregating the data, then even this cube can be eliminated, and you can straight away have your query running on DSO, classical DSO. So the query performance either on cube or DSO is no more difference. It's all one and the same because both are column store tables in the backend. So when you have BW on HANA, whether you do query reporting on DSO or the cube, the performance is one and the same. If you do not have any transformations between the DSO and the cube, if the cube is just used for only for aggregating or subset of data, so the cube can be eliminated and we can have the query running on DSO directly. Okay. Okay. So next concept. How do we consume HANA models in BW? Next concept. How do we consume HANA models in BW? Say for example, I have BW system sitting on top of HANA. In the underlying HANA database, I've got, let's say, analytical view or calculation view or attribute views. How can I consume them in BW so that I can use them into composite provider, or I can create a BigQuery on top of those views here. So the first option is transient provider. By using the concept of transient provider, we can consume the views, HANA models of the HANA of the underlying HANA database in BW. Okay. So for creating this transient providers, let me show you the views what I have planned. It is typing. Now I was on mute. I'm trying to connect to the system. Okay. 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 Hello. You all can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So now we've been dealing with how do we consume the HANA models in BW. Let's say this is the case. I have the BW system at the top, and in the underlying BW system, I have the HANA system, yeah, as a backend. I've got HANA database. Now within this underlying HANA database, I've got some calculation views. I've got some calculation views or analytical views. Let's say, does it give data? Okay, I have this. Let's say this is my calculation view. Let me just act. Now, first way of consuming it, I would like to consume this calculation view in BW bus. One way is by using the transient provider. And so how do we create a transient provider on this? Go to this T code, RSDD underscore HM underscore publish. We get to the T code RSDD underscore HM underscore publish. What was the package here? Transport TP views. Okay. So select the package. Transport TP views. And which HANA model you want from there? This is the one YCV sales order 009. And then say create. So it's going to create an analytical index. So it automatically creates a provider with @3 and then your view name. That's how the transit provider name comes in. And here you can see the list of characteristics. And here you can see the key figure. There is only one key figure, quantity. I'm okay. Let's just save it. That's it. My transit provider is ready. I can start creating a big query on top of this provider. You'll find this provider with @3, which is analytical index. I would like to run this out. So you get to see this output, and this query output is actually reading the calculation view and then showing you this. So this is one, by using transaction provider is one way of consuming it. If you go further into it, now when I'm using this transaction provider, did I use any info objects first? No. I was just using the metadata of the view, straight away the fields, and then designing this transaction provider and then consuming it in BW without having info objects. Let's say I have a requirement now. From the transaction provider, I have a field called customer, which is just giving me customer details. Yeah? 300, 200, 300, all this. Yeah? Now I have a requirement. Within BW, I have a master data called S customer. So I've got customer details with 300, 200, 300, 400 and 500. These are my customer data. Okay. So what I want is, what are the field I have in the transaction provider? I would like to map that field against this info bit and consume this attributes. So how can you do this? This is my S customer info bit. Okay. If you go to this publish, if you go to the change characteristics, then you see something called reference info bit. So for this CNO field, I would reference that with S customer. That's it. No. See, now the customer, you're able to access even the attributes also. So are these attributes coming as normal attributes or navigational attributes? They're coming as normal attributes. So when you say normal attributes, now I see this customer attributes. If I remove this customer and if I drill down on contracts, all the attributes are gone. Why? Because they are just the display attributes. So they depend on customer. No support on the navigational attributes, only normal attributes. Okay. So when you're using transaction provider, we do not have support of navigation attributes. And one limitation with this transaction providers, we do not have support of navigation attributes. And one more point is we cannot transport this transient provider directly, boss. If you go to it's not a straightforward thing to collect this transient provider into a request. So only the workaround what we have is the information about this transient provider is maintained into this table RSLTIP. These are the tables which are relevant to your transient providers. If you go to RSLTIP, you'll have an entry in this table. Mine is this, object is this. So you can select this active one, yeah, and say table entry, say transport entries, and collect into a request. Yeah. Similarly, we have to go to all the tables relevant to this transient provider. Next table. Similarly, I'm collecting entries of all the tables which are related to this transient provider. So this is how you collect it, and then if you go to SC09, you'll have this is my request. We'll have the table contents of all these tables. When you transport this request, then that's how you move the transient provider. But we do not have a direct flexibility of transporting this transient provider, and it does not provide the support for navigation attributes. These are the two limitations what we have with transient provider. Yeah? And the good point about this is it does not ask us to create info objects. Suppose if I have a view with say 100 fields, I don't have to create 100 info objects here because the transient provider is straight up built on the metadata of the view directly. So that's a benefit for me. Yeah. You're able to see my screen, right? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. What if BW is on a different HANA box and views, and which one on different HANA box can we consume? That is a different case, Naresh. If you want to consume the HANA models of a different HANA box which is not in the back end of BW, then that is a different case. I'll come to that. How can the user identify the info provider name which we have created? Means if you see the transient provider, you don't have direct display, but if you go to transient provider, Here you get to see the analytical index is based on this view. That is the only way they can know. Okay. Or you can go to the table name. When you go to the backend table, if you go to the table here, you will see the object name. So if you go in, if you give view name here, YCV underscore sales, just select the view, just give the view name and then see. So this will show me the transaction provider name. You see that there is a view, or this view is being used on it. Okay, fine. Current keywords are automatically identified transaction provider from calculation view. Yes, yes. Characteristics and keywords are automatically identified in the transaction provider. Yes, yeah. Okay. Can one calculation can used in multiple? No. For one calculation view, only one transaction provider. For example, say for example, if I go HM underscore publish, if I just select the same view, see it says HANA model has already been published. Not possible to use the same view again. Can we consume transit info provider for reporting without BEX? Means what? I didn't understand this question. Without BEX in the sense, I can see two things. I can use this transit provider into composite provider, yes, and I can do a direct BEX query on it. Then what else you want to know? Suppose if we enable navigation attribute option at the time of navigation attribute are not supported when you map your infobix with the transit provider. No, because if you remember, even if you enable navigation attribute support in the master, I have done that. See, if you go to this BW, if I go to this S customer, if I go to this S customer, I have navigation attributes here. Look at this. I already have a navigation attributes here. NAV. But if you remember, after enabling this navigation attributes here in information maintenance, you should also switch it on in the provider. We do not have the flexibility of switching on in the provider for transit provider. That's why no support of navigation attributes for transit provider. Okay. Okay. Now next we have consuming it. One second. I can use this. Okay, so next option is using the virtual cube based on HANA model. So we have a virtual cube concept like remote cube and virtual cubes. So next option is we can create a virtual cube based on HANA model and consume it also. The other way of consuming the HANA models in BW, let's say I've got BW sitting on top of HANA. In the underlying HANA database, I have a calculation view and I would like to consume it. The second option is I can go with virtual provider or virtual cube. For the, see, if it is calculation view or analytical view, it will be virtual cube. If it is attribute view, I can go with virtual master data also. Now let's see this virtual cube first. Now same requirement. I would like to have the same view YCV sales order 009, and I would like to consume this with the virtual cube. I already have a virtual cube where I've created my info objects already. So I'm just going to create a copy now. Say create, I can say create virtual provider. Just give some name. V9 V model. Okay. I'm just trying to create a copy. And I would say it's a virtual model based on what? Virtual model based on HANA model, and it has to be based on the same view. I can say okay. Say create. Since I've created a copy, automatically the info objects are copied. Yes, customer. I already have my info objects created here. Yes, customer. Yes, product, contract, and order. All these info objects. ఆ టీవీ సిస్టమ్లో ఎవరు అది నేను పని వాడుతున్నారు ఎవరు కూర్చున్నారు దాంట్లో మళ్ళీ కెలుగుతున్నారు దాన్ని కెలుగుతున్నారు అప్పుడే నాకు కనపడలేదు. One second. Okay. I already have this info objects created. Okay. Now what I need to do is after I specify the model, I need to specify info object mapping for each of this. Now I've got customer number. It is already copied. Because I created a copy rich. Say in my view, I've got document number, customer, product, quantity, and this contract. So with these for each of these fields, I've created a corresponding info objects, and then I've used it here. Yeah. Then once I have my info objects, I need to specify the mapping, saying customer, right click, say mapping. I want this S customer should be connected or mapped to the field called which one? Customer number from the view, CNO, and this product must be mapped to PNO from the view, and contract must be mapped to contract. Order must be mapped to what? Document number. And I also want to do mapping for the quantity field, unit, and quantity. Okay. So this is how you create a virtual cubes. Since I'm using virtual cube, if required, I can switch on the navigational attribute. Say for a customer, I would like to switch on the country, which is a navigational attribute. Yes, customer country code. Let's have switch. I'm trying to switch it on now. Okay, activate. So I should be able to consume this navigational attributes also now. Yeah. V9. Let's create a flex. See, I'm able to consume this navigational attribute here. So this is another way of consuming a HANA model in BW through virtual cubes. So when you use a virtual cube, the benefit is you're able to leverage the concept of navigational attributes also into reporting. That is one. You're able to leverage the BW master data and navigational attributes along with that. But the limitation is you end up creating a lot of info objects here. Because if I have a view which I would like to consume with 100 fields, you end up creating 100 info objects, right? And the transportation is straightforward. You can just collect this virtual cube and then transport it. But when it comes to transporting, first you should make sure you transport the view, then the cube can be transported. We'll see that later, transports. But the main limitation is you end up creating lots of info objects in this case. Okay, that will be your major limitation for this. Okay. Okay. Let's see about virtual master data first now. So I have an attribute called ZAV contract, which is just giving me contract details of contract details. Who is what is the contract number? This is a contract number, product, customer. This is like I want to like to refer this in the master database, contract master data. Okay. So how can we consume this attribute view for virtual master data? So let me create this master data now. Z9 V contract. And I leverage all these as attributes. But what I want is I want this as a remote master database. So I would say drop down, go down. I would like to have the say this is the master data read access, virtual access. Now drop down. I would like to have it based on my HANA view. As soon as HANA view, it will ask me for the package. Then the transport TP. ZAV contract. Okay. Then we'll have to maintain the mappings, say which field and which object. So maintain HANA mappings. Now these are the info objects and propose the corresponding fields of the view. Which field? AV contract for this. Start date. This for end date. Contract type. I want this to be mapped with customer. This to be mapped with product. I don't have this, so I'll map. I can just leave this for text. So text is not mapped, it says. For contract, I would prefer this. Okay. So you get to see this virtual master which is actually getting reading from your view bus. We have not done any loading to the master data, but it is reading the master data from the underlying attribute view and then showing you. Yeah? This is where you can deal with virtual master data bus. But there are still other options of consuming HANA models in BW. If someone is asking if I want to consume HANA model of a different HANA database in my BW, there are other concepts like ODP, all this. We'll come to that. Open ODS view, composite pro, we'll come to that. Okay. So next is about importing BW objects into HANA bus. So we'll stop it here today. Tomorrow we'll start on how do we import this BW objects into HANA bus, consuming BW objects in HANA bus. So there are other options of consuming HANA models in BW. There are obviously like 7 to 8 options. I'll show you this. There was a document which we prepared for previous page. But we'll go to the topics later. We had one document which we created. See, so these are the different options you will have. Like there's multiple options. Then we'll compare it with when to go for which option gives me what flexibility. We'll see all this matrix. But for now, you just seen how do I consume my HANA models in BW by using transit provider, and one is virtual queue based on HANA model. These two you have seen. Still, there are other options of all this. We'll come to that later. Yeah. Okay, boss. Now we'll start with tomorrow. We'll get with how do I import BW objects into HANA bus. Okay. Yeah. Today I'll send out all the PowerPoint videos, everything. I'll send it out.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, if you want to use navigation attribute, we need to go for virtual cube. That is the only option, right, sir?
We'll come to that. The other options, but just take in virtual cube, it supports navigation attributes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. You said navigation attributes, support of navigation attributes. How many options? How many are there? Yes, you see. Even if I use Open ODS view, I can have navigation attribute support, composite product supports it, Open ODS view based on. So there are other options also which can support navigation attributes. Okay.
Okay.
You'll see that. Fine. Thanks.